a good fight with your spouse is the very essence of marriage. One morning in 2011, I told my wife, let's do a grand program this year, the Mental Health Awareness Week at our hospital. My wife, like only she can say, just another of your shams and ego trips. Same old presentation, same doctors, nurses, RMOs, and pharma company people. Where is any awareness? I got annoyed. So what do you want me to do, get on the roadside? She said, yes. That's where the common man who needs awareness is. Now, we are also comfortable talking in closed auditoriums in front of known people. So this was a big challenge. But male ego, I said, okay, I will do that. And I walked out of my house. On reaching I decided to go to a walking park in the vicinity and get the necessary arrangements. Honestly, I had no idea what I was going to do, simply because I lack the six packs, the height, the physique, or the celebrity appeal to attract people's attention. And lectures and monologues are boring. We needed something which would have a major impact, something that would appeal to everybody with universal appeal. Only music, and we just heard some of it a little while ago, has universal appeal. But I am not having any musical talent, nor do I have a melodious voice. What do I do? I decided to steal. Yes. So I stole 3 old Hindi songs and replaced their lyrics with meaningful symptoms of mental illnesses with a call for action towards the end. We wrote 3 sing-along songs, which we handed over to a staff nurse, Niji Augustine, who graciously sang them for us. And then we handed these songs, once they were recorded, to our friends and extended family who helped convert them into musical videos with 0
prior experience.
I'm not exaggerating, they learned video editing by doing this. We decided to do 2 days at each of 3 venues post-sunset during the Mental Health Week, starting on a Tuesday. The first 4 days, we had a declining number of people attending, and that really was difficult. On the second day, we had some gods attending. Yes, the rain gods, washing our program out. I was beginning to feel increasingly demotivated, but my wife wouldn't let me give up. Thank God I listened to my wife, because what we witnessed on day 5 was a dream come true. All the 100, most of the 100 chairs were taken up. People even lined up along the sides, stopping their evening walks to listen to what was going on. At the end of the program, we had a very healthy interaction and discussion with the audience. My formula that musical videos can get attention for mental health messages proved to be a success. I also learned that we could do all this without any expensive equipment, without any professional help or prior experience. All that was required was intent, support from positive people, and a motivating family.
Here is a sample of 3 songs.
Now I had, thank you. Thank you. Now I had 3 musical videos. I decided to upload them on YouTube. Why confine to a few hundred people what can be witnessed by thousands? It has been 6 years now, and you know how many views I have got on YouTube? Collectively, all 3 songs, only 1,600. Yes, my songs did not become viral. But then, that may be because these songs were old generation songs and did not appeal to the more tech-savvy younger generation. So I realized we needed something more tacky, something more snappy, something more upbeat for the younger generation, and we came up with this.
शाम है, काम है, लोग हैं जमा, समझे बिना फैली यहाँ गलतफहमियाँ, खोई है जहाँ आज की रात, बताना यहाँ सही है क्या, प्रॉब्लम है क्या? दो घड़ी में ही यहाँ जान जाए जहाँ, क्या हमने था सोचा हो गया है क्या, रोल फीलिंग का इसमें बड़ा बहुत था, पागल यहाँ कोई न था परेशान, खोया हुआ.
Thank you. My learning from this was that while I may be a good psychiatrist, but promoting messages for awareness, I am still learning.
Particularly,
Digital communication. That is where we need media support. We need media people to tell us what constitutes a good message, how to put a good message across, how to write it in few words, what they call copy, and how to convert this message into musical jingles.
we could get students from all colleges.
Particularly management, mass media, psychology, and medical colleges to take up appropriate social and medical and psychological topics as
Projects.
for their grading of marks, so that these topics get around. We can also have contests for short films, which these people can create, and this way give them social relevance so that they can reach out to the masses. These films can then also be shown in college fests, so we can have access to the younger generation. There is also a need to be aware of the subtle difference between creating awareness and sensationalizing information. We all have a moral and ethical responsibility towards what we put out there as information. Why is there a need to do so much for mental health, you ask? Because those who need it are either unable to access it, or unaware that help is available, or they are fearful or reluctant because of stigma, and that includes most of us. Stigma is misinformation used judgmentally to show the mentally ill in poor light. I ask you, as you grew up, did you already know about mental health conditions? Of course not. You heard about them through friends or relatives. You read about them in magazines or newspapers, or you saw them in TV serials or in movies. All these went around like the game of Chinese whispers, and all this exaggerated information. It is easy to make fun of someone just because they are different in their thinking, feeling, behaving or way of managing their emotions, one must give it a thought. Those who have these problems do not have these problems because they've done something to themselves or they've deliberately brought them on. And we do not have these problems not because we are in any way superior or have worked hard to be normal. These are medical problems that can happen to anybody, anytime. Those who have these difficulties, they are cared for by their people. And one tends to care for these issues when some loved one or somebody dear to you gets affected. Should we have to wait till someone we know personally suffers from these illnesses? So stigma doesn't just start one day when you are young. It starts very early in life, childhood. There are children of today, they are very, very different from what we may have been as children. They're very well informed, I tell you. Do you send your children to any schools or coaching classes to learn how to use a cell phone? Do you? No, but they know. Sometimes you are in an embarrassing situation, you try to fix a problem and you don't know what to do ahead. And a child half your age comes there, takes the gadget from you, fixes it and gives it back to you in a few seconds. And you sheepishly look away. Children know what they are not taught. This 10-year-old girl saved 16 lives when a fire broke out in a high skyrise. You know why? Because somebody came to her school and gave a demonstration on what should be done when a fire breaks out. The same children, you give them a little bit of instruction and see what they are capable of doing. I am thinking, if these children were given information about common mental health conditions in their school curriculum, like depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and substance abuse, while they are growing up, and if they are also taught within their school curriculum, if they are also taught good coping skills and empathy, just how wonderful these young people will turn out to be in terms of their emotional sensitivity and their psychological maturity. Never underestimate the power of a well-informed child. The WHO theme, it's not just all dark as I'm showing this. There is a lot of good things happening. The WHO theme for the year 2017 was, let's talk. With this, a lot of people got encouraged to come out and express their emotional problems. We observe the Mental Health Week between 4th to 10th October every year. And there are days committed to specific mental health disorders throughout the calendar year. But it's still not enough. Let me be real and practical. It's impossible for me to just step out of my clinic on a daily basis and do this. That is why I'm grateful for this platform. There are a few Hindi movies which have projected mental health symptoms genuinely, and we thank the makers of these films. There are also a host of Hollywood films that have similarly helped the image of mental health symptoms to get across. It doesn't matter. We don't need blockbusters, but if you can come up with small clips, small jingles, just small ideas, if you can put up and convey the right message, it will be a big help. There is no rocket science involved in making videos. Your regular presentation software has now an option of exporting your slideshow into a video. Being the youngest of 7 brothers and losing my mom when I was only 17 years of age, I miss my mom. For 22 years, she did not appear in my dream. And one night I dreamt that she had come. It was as if the whole family had gathered there to receive her at the airport, where she was coming from a prolonged treatment. We were meeting her turn by turn when one of my older brothers came towards me crying, and I asked him, "Why are you crying? He said, look, mommy is refusing to go for a little bit of treatment. I reassured him and I said, let me talk to mom. I come face to face with mommy and say, Ma, I am Hozefa, now Dr. Hozefa. Why is big brother crying? She says, look, beta, he wants me to go back for some more treatment. I don't want to go. I said, Ma, why not? She says, I feel very sad and unhappy. My eyes lit up because I recognized these as symptoms of depression. I said, Ma, in today's times, depression is treatable. We can treat sadness. My mom looked at me and said, you innocent boy, can there ever be a remedy for sadness? And before I could say that, Ma, that I wanted to tell her that I am the doctor. But before that, I told her, Ma, we can take you to a doctor who's brilliant at treating these conditions. But before I could say that, I sat up in my bed, crying loudly. My wife got up next to me. She said, what happened? She thought I was having a heart attack. And I said, no, Ma was here. Stigma surfaced even in the subconscious mind of a psychiatrist. Stigma isn't going to end by itself. We will have to wipe it out. Yesterday's media brought in stigma. Today's media has to wipe it out. We look up to you, and you watching this talk days, weeks, months, and years after it is over to help us fight stigma. Dare to care. Thank you.